had your tape, and I think it's a very good idea to exchange tape from time to time. One can get so much more, I think, on 15-minute play than in writing. And as Fred says, it certainly will relieve my eyes in trying to read his writing. Although I must say, recently I've become more used to it. Now, as to technicalities on the tape recorder, it's true, I did have a tape recorder given to me when I retired, and it's a Grundig TK18. It only has one speed, 3 3/4, but it has an automatic recording device, so that theoretically, at any rate, I should not be able to blast you out of the room. And I'm taking the tape down on that recorder. I also have another one which I bought in 1962. Joan was wanting a tape recorder to record certain items in which she was interested from the radio, and foolishly I went for quality and ended up with, in weight, 60-pound tape recorder with 2 speeds, 3 3/4 and 7.5, and a very fine quality instrument, but not the sort of thing that she wanted. Actually, I do use it. In fact, I use both of them quite an amount, because the large one I record direct on VHF from the radio, and that gives us any music, concerts, whatever it may be that we fancy and which we'd like to hear over again. One can really, by this means, build up quite a library of one's own particular and fanciful music pieces or other things, as far as that goes. The other tape recorder, that is the Grundig TK18, I've used that over the years for recording radio and TV language broadcasts, and I have found it's a really tremendous asset to be able to play the sound over and over and over again. Of course, you have to guard against falling asleep, but nevertheless, you can get quite a lot into the old noddle by listening and listening, and of course it must be excellent for the pronunciation. Anyway, I have found both in Spain and in Italy, the little bits I could bring out, they seem to be understood, so the accent couldn't have been too poisonous, though I don't suppose it was good for one moment. Yours sounds a very posh job. Maybe Japanese, but stereo, oh boy, 4 tracks, 3 speeds. You haven't got bells on it as well, have you, Fred? I'm quite sure that you find it very useful for exchanging things with the 2 boys and with the Welsh whales. So I imagine you get quite a lot of pleasure out of it, even if you don't use it for other purposes. As for listening to Joyce on it, her voice does not sound Americanized. It still sounds the English voice which I knew in the past. She didn't at once get excited so that her voice didn't go up and hit the ceiling, but that was the only thing I missed. Otherwise, the only Americanism that I could hear is certain things which inevitably she will pick up, and that is saying gotten, and one or 2 other small matters like that which are noticeable. But, well, I have fallen into them myself in the past. Talking about that, and about news from America in general, our newspapers in the main only give the terrible headlines, but for many years now I've contributed to Time, and Time gives me all the inside dope, or does it, about the Democrats, the Republicans, the states' governors, the laws. Well, you know what Time is, and I have it. It's delivered here every week, and I thoroughly enjoy reading it. Joan calls it my Bible, so that I'm never happy unless I've got my Bible with me, which is very, very true, because I've got more information out of that time than ever I get by reading our papers. That is international information. Domestic information, well, of course, it's always so bloody bad, and it's always so tear-jerking that just as well if you don't read it. So I don't have a daily paper, but when we do, oh boy. I I think the international situation is just about as bad as it can be, and it's about as bad as the United Kingdom can be. It's really in a shocking state altogether. And I've got just one or two little bits which I'll stick in an envelope sometime and post off to you. There's one which is particularly horrifying when it comes to germ warfare and various other types of warfare. And I just think, well, thank God I haven't got any children. I know you have, but what a future they are likely to have if things go wrong. And the way the world goes and the utter selfishness and indifference of the people in power, it could well go wrong at any time. No, I'm glad that within 20 years at any rate, I'll be dead. Like you, I didn't go for Kennedy. In fact, I felt that it was a sort of hierarchy and they were trying to make it a Kennedy clan, or the Kennedy clan making a claim, I think, to the throne all the time. Just too much money. Just too much money. They may be very good in many ways, but I don't know. They're just not the sort of people that I think are wanted as presidents. And then neither is our bloody Wilson. We don't want him, but we've got him and look like keeping him, unfortunately. Well, one thing as regards that travel allowance, it's now 50